Insight 228. There are a series of quick thoughts that some people go through, which ends up with the person feeling disempowered and therefore inclined to settle for second best, or even lower possibilities, such as a person sees no possibility of finding a spouse to interact with lovingly, mentally, emotionally, and sexually. Therefore, one might yield to fantasy, which, which might not be the primary goal one is looking for. This is true in areas of aspirations and economics as well. Therefore, we understand that one's objectives and plans for the future are already limited to one's belief of the limit in one's ability to affect changes in the world, near or far around us. If you had your way, what would you do? Meaning, if you perceived no obstacle blocking you, what would you do? What would you decide to be? In what manner would you behave in various circumstances? What would be your priorities? So here, what I'm saying is that often why sometimes we fall into behaving sexually for this reason. And the reason is that you think quite quickly. The thoughts run through your head quite quickly, a series of thoughts. For example, you think, oh, I don't have a partner, I don't have love, I'm not married, I'm not going to have a sexual interaction, I'm not going to have a loving interaction, and this leads you into and you're feeling disempowered, and you're inclined to settle for second best, for some other person, or not only go for sexual fantasies, but also you might just go and marry somebody else who's not somebody who you want to get married to. Same with your aspirations, your dreams, what you want to do. Let's say you believe that you cannot achieve what you really want to do, so then you settle for this other thing. You settle for this other thing, which you don't really want to do. You want to do this one, but you have this belief that you cannot do that, so you settle for this one. Same with money. The same thing with money. Therefore, we understand that I'm reading this again. Therefore, we understand that one's objectives and plans for the future are already limited to one's belief of the limit in one's ability to affect changes in the world. So you want to do something, whatever it is, right? Because you believe you cannot do this in the world. You cannot, something in the world is blocking you from doing this. You believe that you cannot do it, and you have this belief system, so you don't do it. You settle for second best. Your objective of doing something depends on your belief of what you can achieve. Example: they have done this experiment on a flea where they put it in a glass, and they put the flea in there, and they cover the top of the glass with a sheet of plastic. Let's say they covered the lid. Anyway, so this flea jumps up and can't get out of the glass, except that it hits the top of the covering constantly. Bing, 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 bing. So the flea just does this until it learns where the covering actually is, and then this flea just jumps just enough to miss it. Jumps just enough to miss it. Learns to do that. Now you take off the covering. The flea can jump out any time. But because it believes that it cannot, it won't. It will jump just enough to reach the top of the glass and go back down to the glass again. It won't jump out, even though it has the ability. It has learned, or mislearned in this case, that this is his limit. He believes that he cannot go beyond here, so he remains in the glass. Are you remaining in your glass, believing that you cannot achieve what you want to achieve? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you want to I'm going to give you Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of a person who's writing a book, and he wants to effect positive changes in society, right? This is my example. If somebody doesn't accept his book, he prints his own book. If no bookstore holds his book, he carries his book around and sells it to people. He becomes the bookstore. He might even buy his own store and make it a bookstore and sell his own book. If no organization will help him to, if no organization sees the efficacy of the information, just doesn't know about it, and even if they're approached by me, if I approach them and say, hey, I have this information, it's very helpful for your government or your organization to get involved in really getting help to people. If they'd say no and they don't want to get involved in all this stuff, then you build your own organization and you help people. So at whatever step you get obstacles where you definitely cannot overcome, you build your own.